We are watching Hurricane Milton very closely at this hour on its ominous path toward Florida.
Yeah, this is a historically dangerous hurricane.
Hurricane Milton is closing in on Florida.
Americans are watching and waiting. Barreling across the Gulf of Mexico, Hurricane Milton is expected to hit the west coast of Florida tonight.
I urge everyone in Hurricane Milton's path to follow all safety instructions as we head to the next 24 hours. It's literally a matter of life and death.
In scarcely 72 hours, it's transformed from a tropical storm, fueled by the hot waters of the Gulf, into one of the most powerful hurricanes on record, its awesome power clearly visible from space. And while it's shifted between Category 4 and 5, its size is increasing rapidly, its winds now stretching 125 miles away from the center of the storm. And it's only thanks to daring government scientists like the crew of the Miss Piggy flying directly through the eye of the hurricane that we know the speed and strength of what could be one of the most damaging natural disasters to ever hit this part of the United States.
Who I believe is at an assisted living center where it's a bit of a dynamic situation right now. Isabel, what are you seeing?
Hold on a second.
Hey, John. Yeah, good morning to you, John. You saw the active rescues that were happening over in Plant City. Now we have moved on to a different part of Hillsborough County by the University of South Florida. And my God, just look at this. An incredible amount of flooding just from all the rainfall and a nearby lake over here. I have never seen this by the University Plaza area. And I used to live here for many years. As we were zooming in, you can see cars that are flooded out. You can see the police officers who have taped off a huge section of this road. And I can also tell you that in that direction, John, there's an assisted living facility where Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office tells me that they are conducting active rescue operations right now. They have over 100 people in there that are trapped and they need to get them out. And you're talking about some people who need to use wheelchairs, some people who, because they're so sick or elderly, you know, they're bedridden. So complex medical issues where they need the help of HCSO deputies to get them out of there. And how are they doing that? In floodwaters like this, through amphibious vehicles. So SHERP is what they call them, this vehicle that's able to get into these floodwaters with deflatable tires and literally float in this and then come back onto dry land and the tires reinflate to get them out.
Late on July 20th, distressing videos started appearing on Chinese social media. We are hearing the desperate calls for help from people in Zhengzhou, a megacity in central China, experiencing torrential rainfall. The people are commuters trapped in a flooded subway train. More than 500 people on board. For over 3 hours, the passengers were stuck inside the carriage as they rapidly filled with water and ran out of air. 14 passengers were later confirmed dead by the authorities. Their train home had turned into death trap.
The video, taken in the country of Romania, shows a thunderstorm that had affected several regions of the country. The accompanying hailstones, which measured to be about the size of ping pong balls, tore up much of the landscape and did millions of dollars in damage. As the storm rolled, the hail itself lasted for about 15 minutes. In that short period of time, the land was covered with a white blanket of stones. According to some local residents, the hail was accompanied by incredibly strong wind, rain, and lightning. It was harsh enough to shake the walls of buildings. As the video shows, the parked vehicles took the brunt of the damage from the hailstones. However, as you can see, the hail wasn't the only thing hitting the cars. As the large chunks of ice tore through the sky, they smashed into trees, tearing them apart branch by branch and leaf by leaf. Many of these branches were torn off and fell to strike the cars as well. The subsequent insurance claims from this huge hailstorm totaled to over $400 million.
Completely zero visibility.
Tonight, a dangerous blizzard intensifying over the Great Plains, dumping heavy snow from New Mexico to Iowa, making travel next to impossible, even stranding semis. In Nebraska, conditions quickly deteriorating, with visibility reduced to less than a mile. As the storm advances toward the Midwest, 2 inches of snow could fall per hour, with wind speeds nearing hurricane force levels.
Oh my God.
To the south, much of the Gulf Coast on high alert for tornadoes. Schools in the danger zone closing early ahead of the threat. Fort Lauderdale recovering from a weekend tornado touching down and traveling for over a mile. Houston bracing for heavy winds ahead of the college football championships tonight. Meanwhile, the Northeast is digging out from its first major winter storm of the year. What do you think about all the snow that we got?
Oh, that's too much.
Worcester, Massachusetts buried in over a foot of snow. Parts of Pennsylvania seeing 15 inches. And now heavy rain.
Of wildfire is raging in Wyoming's Bighorn National Forest, having spread to over 75,000 acres as of Wednesday. Known as the Elk Fire, it was initially ignited by lightning and now poses a serious threat to nearby communities and critical natural resources. With containment efforts currently at just 16%, over 829 firefighters and personnel are actively engaged in battling the blaze. Residents in surrounding areas remain on high alert as authorities prepare for possible evacuations and establish protective measures. Early Wednesday, increased fire behavior was reported due to high winds and low humidity. At around 3 a.m. Mountain Time, gusty winds intensified the fire's activity near the Big Goose Water Treatment Plant. Firefighters on the night shift, including a dozer crew and a hotshot crew, worked tirelessly to control the advancing flames. The U.S. Forest Service has warned that Wednesday's warmer and drier conditions could lead to even more active fire behavior. Numerous aircraft are assigned, conducting water and retardant drops to slow the fire's spread.
Microplastics are possibly the most serious type of pollutant that our society has ever created.
I tested snow in our backyard and found tiny fragments of plastic particles. When I came home, I told my children to not catch snowflakes. It's everywhere. You go out into the world and you're going to be exposed to it.
Plasticizers have been implicated in various health problems: heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, fertility problems.
We're finding microplastics wherever we look in the human body.
We know that humanity is getting sicker. I don't know if there's a direct connection or not, but it's something I want to find out.